Hey, Shalom, Shalom. This is Mop on Yashar upon the power names and Mop son of Israel, son of Ephraim. Before I get started, I'd like to give all praises and honors to my power, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakidash. Shalom to the Akim Agwaf. Akim Agwaf, Nabayim, that's tuned in this video. Salakia. That's a piece of the brothers, sisters, and children that's tuned into this video. I'm going to do a quick hitter, discussing some things. So, last night I was hanging out with a group of friends, and they had they started having this little conversation and a debate on what they would do and what they would need if and when shit hits the fan, because they see what's going on. Now, granted, they're not very spiritually inclined. These people don't really know the truth, so they don't know why it's happening or why it has to happen. Right? They're just like, man, this shit crazy, man. Like, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have that. So it came around the time to me, and I said, I'm gonna have my Bible and Apocrypha. Now, they were like, okay, cool. They didn't really they know what I do, so they didn't really have no question about it. But they over here trying to make a whole plan, and then when they're making plans, I wasn't really entertaining it because there's nothing. Just in all reality, there's no plan you can do. You got to be right with the Lord. So was just meditating. It was in my spirit, and I was like, it's something that I feel like you gotta be discussed, because at the end of the day, you can make all these doomsday preppers and all these people that try to make plans and all the other shit. That's not gonna work. It's simply not gonna work. The only way that you could be saved out of what's about to happen is if you have Ha'adawah Yahweh. Only way you could be saved, what's about to happen, is if your name's in the book of life. You got to make your like the call on the shore, right? That's the best chance you got, right? The book of Isaiah, chapter 33, verse 6. And the wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and the strength of salvation, the fear of Ha'adawah Yahweh is his treasure. Now, I feel like this precept brought out like almost every other lesson, because it's so strong and potent. It's very important that you understand having this wisdom, having this knowledge, is what's going to keep you sane. That's what's going to keep you sane in these times. Nothing else. That's nothing that you could do to keep you sane, other than have this word. It's the only thing that's gonna keep you stable and all right. It's like period, because you see these people that be bugged out, be losing their mind because they don't got the truth, right? So you gotta understand, because we are entering into tumultuous times. The book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 10. The name of Ha'adawah Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and are safe. So that's like doubling back on this being the stability at our times. If you know the word, that can keep you safe. This people don't be saved from knowing the word, right? I mean not the word, the name. But you'll be saved from. I'm not gonna say you are, So if it's the will of the Lord, you will. But like being in this, having this understanding will keep you have you be stable, and give you a fighter's chance. What brother likes to say. And it's funny because people like, I'm just gonna prep and I'll be ready when it happens. I'm gonna have all of this. I'm gonna have all of that. But if it's not the will of the Lord, it's all for naught. It don't really mean nothing, right? The book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 18. Therefore, have he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will hardeneth. The Lord chooses who he gonna have mercy on. It's not very much we could do for you to try to have a better chance. Not nothing that you really could do, right? That will say unto me, then why does he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? You can't go against the will. If God on your house says you're gonna do something, you're gonna do something. You don't have the power to be like, no, I'm not going to, and not do it. Don't. That's why I don't believe in coincidence. I feel like everything happened for a reason, because the Lord has ordained it. It's not a bird that fought the sky. The Lord hasn't ordained, man, for it to happen. That's something that's very important for you to understand, because people understand that. I feel like they're gonna be like, man, let me not. I'm not really worried about stocking up on this and this and that, and let me get right with the Lord, because that's your best chance. That's truly your best chance, best and only chance. I ain't gonna lie, I say your best chance. That's your only chance. Let's be real. That's your only chance, right? Proverbs 20:24. Men's goings of how Adonai Yahweh. How can a man then understand his own way? Simple. Like it's simple. We don't. The free will is not real, as you know. So, uh, and Lord will give us like points of liberty to test our spirit, but understanding that you don't have the power to get change what's coming for you. So if you think you have an idea in your mind that if you could stack all this different stuff and you'll be safe for what's about to come, then you're out your rabbit ass mind. You're crazy. And not even gonna say you're out your rabbit ass mind. You're lost, right? Because we're going into a very tumultuous time. Book of Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 7. At last, for the day is great, so none is like it. There's nothing else. What's finna come to the earth has never happened before. Like nothing else that happened before. And there's been a whole bunch of different points in history where tumultuous times went on this earth. It has been insane stuff that was happening, and this is like none like before. So you know it's gonna be to an nth degree. It's gonna be crazy. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Right? It's the time of Jacob's trouble. That's the time that we're going into. These are the times of people. These are what people don't think that's what they're planning for. They think, oh, we're planning for this and this. This is what this is ultimately what they're trying to get ready for. But you can't get ready for it unless you have the word. You have the wisdom. If you're in this word, you are here praising Yahweh Yahweh, right? When he says, but he shall be saved out of it, that's going into the elect. Amos 5:19, as if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned on his hand on the wall, and the serpent bit him. That's what encompass what Jacob's trouble is going to be like, man. It's just going to be judgment being mailed to your doorstep, with Esau coming down with draconian laws and putting people to death because they don't want to get it the charagma. Um, this is what it's going to be, and you can't again you can't plan yourself out of this. You can't build your own community to get yourself out of this. You have to have the Lord. That's what you need. A man flee from a lion, and a bear met him. Or you flee from a lion, right? You went into a house and lean your hand on it, and the serpent bit you. Now, granted, that's also going into the fact that you can't escape your judgment, right? So if the Lord is sending to you, and whatever the Lord has coming for you is going to come get you, right? You're going to get your judgment. You can't escape judgment. This isn't final destination where you can escape death. That's not real life, right? If you didn't die, it's because it wasn't time for you to die. But if the Lord wants to get you, He's gonna get you. But my point is this: this is coming into a very tumultuous and crazy time. The only way you could be saved is if you have the Word, right? The Book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 7: 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. If you have this Word, you have a fighter's chance. For it not to come near you, right? For you to be protected. So if people sitting here talking about how can I be ready, how can I be protected? The only way you could be protected and be ready is if you have this word. If you have this word, that's really it. You can't plan for what's going to come. All you can do is be in His word, and I will give you a fighter's chance. But out of our desire, this lesson was edifying. You know, exhorting to. You gotta give our praises and honors and my power, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahshua, Bahashem Rakakadash. Shalom to Malkim Alkawath in the volume that's tuning into this video. That's peace to the brothers, sisters, and children that's tuning into this video. Shalom.